Thanks for tuning in. If you like old trains, please subscribe. Today we'll talk a little bit about the HP Products TT Gauge Pacific. That's the star of our evening here. And we're pulling the heavyweight passenger cars. The Pacific started here in September of 1949. It was introduced. Harold Joyce of HP Products introduced TT the end of 1946, and he started adding a few other engines. Initially it was a diesel with the streamlined passenger cars, and then he added the 060 and a couple more steamers, and by 49 it was his big push, and he brought out the beautiful Pacific, which turned out to be one of his more popular engines. And you can see it was offered in a kit or ready to roll at $42.50, which was quite expensive. You could get a pretty decent Lionel set, which would include track and transformer and cars for that. So it was not cheap. Here are the basic instructions, which are pretty easily followed. HP Products did a very good job of making modular pieces. So you see the same cylinder and steps and wheels used on most of their engines. The boilers were used on different configurations. They used a Pitman motor back here. So you could use the pieces interchangeably in other different engines. You could cut your cab to different configurations. So this is their instructions here. The line kind of stagnated from 49 until 59. 59 there was a big push again. They added on to the factory. The real business was making stamping. This was at best a sideline. But in 59 they did a big push and they started doing lost wax castings. So you go from the early engine here, which had a box poke type driver, very very simplistic, because they're probably able to do that in-house. But they went with some Chemtron parts and were able to do real spoked wheels here, starting in 59, and a lost wax front pilot here. So that was the upgraded version here, was the new spokes. They had great plans. They came out with their first new engine in 10 years, the 10-wheeler. They were revising the track, and then all of a sudden the real business must have caught on, because by 61 they start making excuses, not being able to keep up with demand, and by 62 continued shortage of pieces, and by 63 they're selling off the TT line. So the passenger cars here, the initial ones by HP Products are the Streamliner here in 46, and that was the only passenger cars they came out with other than the MU cars. So you had to go to the other little people to come up with the heavyweights. So these are the Star out of Texas, plastic sides, wood top, wood bottom, and I don't know who made this one. This is a stamped aluminum sides, nice long one. It'd be nice to have a string of these. So in TT gauge, most everything was kit built or scratch built. So we have a scratch built baggage there. We have one of these nice aluminum stamp side long car here, scratch built baggage here, Star shorty here, and another scratch built full length one here. Part of the fun with TT, of course, is matching up the couplers. HP Product comes up with this nice little dinky little thing originally in 46, and then by 50 they've upgraded it to this much larger coupler, which is easier to get put together, sometimes impossible to uncouple, but once it does couple nicely. And then Star came out with these little guys, which are really dinky, and then Katie get on the mix later on. So when you're collecting the old stuff, it's fun to try to match them all up so that you get a consistent train of all the same couplers, kind of a challenge. So we'll switch out with the late Pacific here, which the late the engines with the late drivers are pretty hard to find. In fact, they were introduced in '59. TT was on the way out. N-Gauge came in starting in 61, 62, started getting a major hold. TT was rapidly diminishing. So we'll switch it out with this engine here. So here we have the late Pacific with the spokes on the drivers and the lost wax front pilot and lost wax trucks on the tender. A few little improvements do make the engine pop quite a bit, which is nice. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you like what you see, please subscribe.